Hello, welcome to Liz Rocks and Stuff. I'm Liz. This is episode 123 or 123 of What's in My Tumbler. Forgot the name of it for a second. Starting off with Opal Quartz. This is the mix of leftover opal from my Candy Coated Dreams batch and quartz from just all the various quartz that I've tumbled over the years. One big piece for my backyard and a bunch of other stuff. This is currently in stage 3.5, so I am going to be moving it into stage 3 this week. I am being careful because the opal has proven to be a little bit problematic. But this is going into final polish, so I'm going to set my expectations now. Opal is very soft. Quartz is very hard. I am fully 100% expecting that the quartz is going to look pretty good, and the opal is going to look really bad. So that's my prediction. Anybody else wants to throw out a prediction, you're free to do that, but that's what I'm going to say is going to happen is the quartz is all going to look great, the opal's all going to look terrible. Nothing crumbling this week, so I guess the opal just decided to behave for once in its life. And so now we are going to put this into a soap cycle. I am glad that I did a 3.5 stage on this because that's going to give the opal the best shot of having some kind of a shine, but it is tumbling with something that's a lot harder than it. I think the opal's about a 5 and the quartz is like a 7. So pretty big difference there. So now it's gone through its soap cycle. I started out not being in the sun when I set myself up, and then the sun came out of the clouds and it was a super bright oversaturated shot. So there's not great camera work in this week's video. Not like there's ever great camera work because I do it all myself, but you know, I try. But anyway, so now we're going to put some water, tablespoon of borax, and I think I only did 2 tablespoons of final polish. Should be enough. If it's not, I'll just throw it all back in and do another polish cycle, or I'll just say I'll do something else later. I don't know. But final polish for Opal Quartz. Kind of glad to be getting this one over with. Shattered Dreams. This is my broken obsidian that I retumbled, and it is out of final polish this week, so we get to see how it turned out. My final stage always looks like there was soap in it. It doesn't matter how well I rinse things out. Whenever I open the final polish, it always is frothy. And I think I've seen it in other people's stuff too, so it just must be what final polish does. But at this stage, there's no point in checking for problems because if they're there, they're already there, and nothing's going to be fixed by taking it out. So I don't bother checking at this stage. We are just going to put in a tablespoon of borax and run this for a few hours to get a burnish on this, and then you get to watch me sort all not even all of it. I left some of the smaller stuff in the media, but I am just gonna not talk while I'm doing the sort because it took forever, and I even cut out some stuff. But anyway, burnished for a while, and now do a quick rinse. Then we're gonna take it inside under the not oversaturated lights, and now you get to see me sort. This entire towel is going to be covered in obsidian when I'm done. All right, did you like that? So now we're going to dry everything off, and I'm going to show you some close-ups of a few of my favorites. The first is a piece of silver sheen. You can see that silver right there. Beautiful. And this is, it might be Midnight Web, it might, or Lace, or whatever that type is. It might just be regular obsidian, I don't remember. And that is some mahogany obsidian. Super happy with how these turned out. I did not expect that they wouldn't because they were great to begin with. Fingerprints all over my lens makes this shot look like I was in a forest fire while filming it, but apologies for that. Strangely enough, the still shots that come next were shot with the same camera, and they don't have that problem. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to Iolite. This is Iolite, obviously, and it is in stage 2, moving into stage 3. I don't think I'm going to do a stage 3.5 on this. Iolite is actually pretty hard, so it shouldn't need a stage 3.5. But there's a little part of my brain that has gotten used to doing 3.5 because I was doing the obsidian and the opal. Is like, maybe all of your batches need to have a stage 3.5. And there's the other part of my brain that's like, no, hard stuff doesn't need a 3.5. But then there's the part like, what could it hurt? Maybe I should. I know there are people that always do 5-stage tumbling, so I'm kind of toying with that idea now of doing a stage 3.5 for everything. We'll see though. I need better grit storage if I'm gonna add another stage permanently into my rotation. But yeah, so nothing going on with these. Everything's doing great. And so we are going to add some more media to this because I did feel like it needed some more media. And then soap cycle, as always. I did have somebody say that they struggled with Iolite when they did it. It didn't turn out very well for them. So that's another thought that I'm having of maybe I need to do a stage 3.5. Even though it is hard. Some rocks, just because they're hard, doesn't mean they don't need extra love and care. So I'm toying with that idea too. We'll see what I do next week. Maybe by next week I'll have forgotten that this was even a thought that I had. And I'll just put it into stage 4. Who knows? I don't even know half the time. But anyway, we're going to put this all back into the barrel. And then water. And I think I only put in 1 tablespoon of stage 3 because, again, I forget that this is a 3-pound barrel. Maybe I'll open that up and add some more of the stage 3 grit because it probably will need it. But we are going to close this up. And put that on for a week. And now we're looking at the Howlite that I started next week. And I gotta say, I'm already really excited about this stuff. If it stays looking exactly like it looks right now, I will be happy. Because I feel like this stuff actually looks good matte, not shiny. It still looks good to me. So, even if it ends up with the shine that the Shungite got, it will be pretty. If it stays matte like it is now, pretty. So what I'm doing is I do have some more rough that needs to go into stage 1. So I am looking at things. If they have imperfections that could maybe use a little more time, I'm putting them back in the barrel. But I am pulling out the ones that I feel like are nice and smooth, that are really not going to be helped at all by going into another round of stage 1. So, but then next week, everything's going into stage 2. This stuff is so soft, it does not need to spend a lot of time in stage 1. So that's my plan, is I'm going to get all the rough through at least 1 week in stage 1, and then it's all going to go into stage 2. This is going to get a stage 3.5. So that's kind of my plan here. But like I said, I pulled out about 3 pieces, and they're dry now, and I like them even matte as they are. I would like for them to be a little smoother. They're still kind of rough. Not necessarily nice to feel, but they're still pretty, and I like them. I like Howlite a lot. I think it's very pretty and would look really cool with some wire wrapping if I ever actually figure out how to do that. And now the new barrel. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by what I'm putting in here. Some silver sheen obsidian that I busted up with a hammer on my back deck and scared all the animals in the forest. And then some snowflake obsidian that, again, I busted up with a hammer. on my back patio. Had to clean up a bunch of glass shards. And then these are the shards. I figured why not put them in as filler. They're going to turn into the slurry. They're not going to hurt anything. So plan here is, again, next week I'll do the same thing I did with the Howlite. Anything that is perfect will get pulled out. Anything that needs more time will go in with the rough that I still have that needs more time. And then we'll probably break this up into 2 batches depending on how much I have. Like I always do with the filler and all that. So I am calling this one Obsidian again. This should be the last Obsidian I do for a while. I don't have any more currently in stock. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you all back next week.